Pol Pot was one of the most barbaric dictators in history, killing a quarter of his own population. During his rise to power, he evacuated major cities in Cambodia with the goal of creating an agrarian utopia in the country instead of modernizing it like the rest of the world would, killing millions on his way. The topic I focused on specifically was the evacuation of Phnom Penh and other major cities in the country. To learn more than I could doing research alone, I went and conducted an interview with someone who lived through it. This is Miss Amanda Prack.
Before the Khmer Rouge took over, life was like very simple, and every day we walk down to the river, bathe, and bring like a bucket of water to the house to, for use like wash the dishes, and sometimes we bathe at home, and we don't have a bathroom like we have here in America, so you bathe outside. But we cover what you call we call sarong. So
Okay.
So but most of the time we bathe in the evening, so it's kind of a little bit more privacy. And I mean, life is very simple. We take nothing for granted. I have a very big family. All my mother's side of family were all surrounded, and my mom will send me out a couple times a day, like lunch and or dinner with dishes, food, and then come back with a couple more dishes to bring. So we kind of exchange with the families, and sometimes even just a neighbor. Yeah, it was good. The community is very close. As a matter of fact, it's no stranger. So not just a family, but I'm talking about everybody else in general. This is like a very tight community. When there's death, birth, wedding, everybody show up and give their support. The first change was like everybody for themselves. They're not as friendly, and I guess everybody were afraid of each other. Well, before the Khmer Rouge, you don't even have to lock the door. I never did have the opportunity to go to school myself because I was 5, almost 6 really, but my father was a school teacher, and he often take me to his class and visit the school, and I get special treat being the teacher's daughter. So students and others teachers will bring snack, and I just love, always looking forward to it. But unfortunately, I never had the opportunity because when the Khmer Rouge took over, they closed all the school. Pol Pot was a school teacher, so his idea was to, when we were forced to evacuate and they closed down all the institution, destroyed all the school, and they started to kill the intellectuals. So his plan was to take everyone, the country, back to year 0, meaning everybody at the same level, there's no class. We unfortunately, no, we did not get out of the country. As a matter of fact, that very morning when the war tank rolled in, all the soldiers, almost immediately we were forced to evacuate the city into the rural area. Yeah, when that happened, my father was not even with us. He was at a meeting. It was not till January, when they took over April 17, 1975, not until January of 1979. So almost 4 years later, we just took the opportunity because they have to withdraw the Khmer Rouge troop, to fight with the Vietnamese troop. So we all, escaped during open fire. They were shooting and bombing. There was a lot of casualty, of course. We had this, jump over corpse and stuff like that. Unfortunately, we lost 2 of my younger siblings because of that. And most of my father's side of the family were killed, and died of starvation. It was hard when we came to the United States, but before the United States, we went to a refugee camp. So we fled Cambodia, and it's a week journey through the jungle of Thailand, and it's such a dangerous place to be. Of course, we have to dodge bullet between the Khmer Rouge soldier, the Vietnamese soldier, the Thai who were trying to keep us out of the country. So we were living in a jungle about 3 months before we get on the bus and go to, before the refugee camp opened up. So we had to go through 3 different refugee camps before we got sponsorship to America, and then we came. It was the people are wonderful, but we couldn't speak the language. But to us, everyone is an angel. You know, these beautiful people who are so kind to us. We lived in a temporary home about 2 weeks, and then our sponsor find a job for my parents. Then we moved to a rental home, and school was very, very difficult, you know, for someone who never speak a word of English. So
How old were you when you started speaking English and learning?
I was 12, almost 13 really before I get to start school. So schools here, I never had any chance in Cambodia, of course. So being a 13, fifth grader, learn ABC, and you know, you get bullied, you get kicked, you know, picked on a lot because being different, first of all, and you don't speak the language. Yeah, it was a very, when we heard the news about, well, we got really excited when we heard that he was arrested in Thailand or in the hold, and then they was going to bring him to the U.S. for, I guess, war criminal trial, whatever. And then we heard about him passing away, so it was just devastating. So we just feel like justice never had done.
There's no justice.
And because a lot of the leader below him, they have the trial in Cambodia, and after those, we feel they're just a waste of time and money because they could use the money for the trial to help the people who is facing this poverty and struggling. So we left Cambodia in 1979, so 1992 was my first trip back to Cambodia. My whole goal was to see my grandparents and family who were left behind. I mean, I miss them dearly because like I do go to sleep really early so I can dream about them because there's no way of communication. But anyways, to make a long story short, I went there and I've seen when we left Cambodia and I went back in 1992, it was still this kind of same stage, devastated. And even worse, that I've learned about human trafficking. So back then, we hear story where families, I mean, parents sold their own kid, you know, for $100 to $200, and they sold their freedoms. And this poster everywhere that's illegal selling, you know.
Right.
So human trafficking was like the main issue. So that kind of brought me to a lot of tears, and I want to do so much to help those who are left behind. So because I am so grateful for good life here, you know, people helped us. It's time for me to do that, but I was not able to start back in the 90s because, you know, I'm still going to school and, you know, was struggling still financially, and I said that one day when I had the opportunity, I would do it. So I had the opportunity in 2006, so I started my foundation named 100 Pounds of Hope, which was named after 100 pounds of rice that I first distributed to the family. So I started the mission with 110 families, just first doing the food relief, but then I wanted to do more, something more sustainable. So I started work on a building school, and I was happy to say that school have finished built back in 2015. So right now I'm trying to like raise more funds to really get the kids in the, you know, the next step is to educate them, you know, give them a way out of poverty.
And you said you've spoken at some schools around town?
Yes, I spoke at the Freeman High School the last 7-8 years. So as a matter of fact, next week I'm due to speak in another class. So,
All right, that's great.
yeah.
So hopefully, as we talked about earlier, I can get you to come speak at Collegiate sometime.
That would be wonderful. I would love to have an opportunity.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I really,
okay.
you know, it's funny. I started, you know, this project and this whole class just like to learn as another class, but you know, I've grown to see how people that have been affected by it have been in my lives. You know, I've known you since I was so little, and I had no idea about this, and you know, now I really hope to raise some actual awareness. And thank you so much for.
Well, no, thank you, and I thank you for choosing Pol Pot, because a lot of people don't know about Pol Pot.
Right,
yeah.
Like once I started researching, I was shocked that
Yeah.
you know, it hadn't just been on the list. Like, you know, in middle school we learned about like Adolf Hitler and all these terrible people, but you know, I can't believe this is almost just skipped over. Like, it doesn't matter because it was such a big thing and it was so recent that I can't believe it wasn't talked about.
Yeah, it's sort of like 40 years ago, but to us it feels like it just happened just like, you know, just a few years ago, because it's still, all the memories are still there. Yeah.
When you take your trips to Cambodia, which you said you do annually or recently twice a year, what is the, you know, what is your whole day like from when you get up to when you can go back to bed?
So when I get there, because there's no hotels or any safe place I can stay in a rural area, so I have to travel on a motorbike, like 45 to an hour. I mean, 45 minutes to an hour each morning, and then the same thing in the evening. Of course, I don't drive the motorbike myself, so I had to catch with a friend. So, and usually like the first week after riding, it was just a hard, bumpy road, so I can barely get off the bike, because every night I would just go back to the hotel and sleep, and the next thing I know, I had to get up at 6 o'clock. I'm out again. I don't get back to the hotel about 9, 10 o'clock, even at night. And the hotel I stay in is not something fancy. It's just like $20 hotel. So I don't really care about the condition as long as we have shower and a clean bed to sleep in.
Luxury.
Yeah, so it was no luxury. And then I eat whatever the teachers, or you know, we prepare food over there. So there's no kitchen, no real kitchen at the school. So they just kind of put blocks of bricks together, and we burn wood and stuff like that, cook, and whatever they eat, I eat.
That's great.
So yeah.
So you said you spend times in the schools teaching kids English?
Yes, I help teach English, because I hire 5 teachers who, you know, who take like a huge pay cut because they want to help me with this program, because it brings a lot of concern because I'm not able to raise the money for that. I mean, I feel guilty asking people left and right, so I do out of my pocket. So I do extra work. I drive, or like Lyft, you know, it's the same thing as Uber. So I get up at 4 o'clock in the morning, go, and then if I have like a gap in between clients, say like 2 hours or more, I will go out there, you know, doing a couple runs, and then again in the evening. So that's, you know, because I need to raise $600 to pay for the, and I'm still a little concerned about it, because like I said, I don't know how long I can keep the program running, because if I come to a point where I tell a kid that I have to stop, I know it's going to break my heart, break their heart, things like that. So some of the kids, they go to English classes, it's really after school, after government school. I mean, even though I built a school, but in the morning they have the regular class, the Khmer, the teaching, but the English is after. And that's why the reason why I stay so late, so I help teach English. And we have 2 classes, the schedule from a 4 to a 5, and then the next class is 5 to 6. They don't start school till 4, but then at 1 o'clock they already show up. So my whole day is with them. If they're not around, then I work on, you know, project, you know, with the safe sanitations and clean water and everything else all around the school.
Do you get to interact with the same students and kids every year when you go back?
Yes, and they all call, like I have 400 kids who call me mommy. So it's just such a great feeling.
Right.
So even when I lay down, you know, we have this hammock, not fancy, just some cloth hammock. Sometimes I feel like I can't even breathe because they're all over me. I mean, I cut the hair. I bought some instrument over there, cut hair. There's no proper chairs. And there's no sets up salon, anything like that. So the kid will stand, I just cut their hair. And
that's amazing that you can,
so,
you know, use your profession and go back and help them.
Exactly. Some of them can't afford the haircut, so, you know. So.
Do you think that most of this is aftermath from the Khmer Rouge takeover?
Oh, definitely, yeah, because it's, you know, it's like I said before, you know, after 40 years, so it's still the same, because it really changed mentality But at least I can say that myself. And the first time I visited them, it was such a different kind of environment. Now it's like parents actually cares about education. When I first arrived there back in 2003, when I visited them, no, I take back we went in 2003. It was 2000. The first time I went to that school was in 2009 actually, and they have over 40% drop out before they even finish middle school.
Wow.
Yeah, over 40% before, you know, and now maybe about 10% drop out.
That's good.
Yeah,
That's
parents are really changed because parents say, who's going to help them making money or bringing food to the table if the kid go to school because they don't see any value in education. I changed that. So yeah, so now parents are like 40% of the kids who are at the school right now do not live with the parent. The parents are outside the country in Thailand, Malaysia, Singapore to find work, and the kids, you know, they send money to Cambodia to support kids. So that's why I'm like their second mom.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. So.
Well, it's so great that you can help out so many kids. You know, I envy your ability to care so
Well, I'm
much
just
for
like,
others.
you know, I'm just grateful to have an opportunity. I mean, for me, just to wake up every morning to see on the same roof with my family, I'm just very grateful because when I was 8 years old, I was separated completely, was put in the child labor camp, and you know, my every day was just a focus how I'm going to survive, and I just don't know if I'm going to live to see the next day, and you know, there's a reason why I'm still alive, so therefore I must do my part.
That's really amazing.
Thank you. Yeah.
I'm so glad I get to hear you talk. You know,
Thank
firsthand.
Yeah.
You know, I can do as much research as possible, but you know, nothing's been the same as hearing firsthand accounts.
And you know, I love to to share the story and the awareness and everything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's all about raising awareness because people need to know.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that you're taking the interest, and then you know.
Yeah, thank you so much again for
my pleasure. Thank you.
talking with me. If you were just to choose one like important thing you want everybody that sees this to remember, and I hope that becomes more than just my class, and you know, I hope to share this with people. So, what's one thing you want everybody to know just about your journey?
To appreciate life.
Simple as that.
Yeah, it's as simple as that. Because before all this that happened, you know, I don't see much value in life itself. Because you take it for granted. Not that I don't see much the value, but you take it for granted. But just knowing that you are giving a second chance, because you live, I mean, you go to the point where close to death, be either killed, die of starvation. But now that I've been through those, so I appreciate life so much. I appreciate the family, because I was separated from the family. So, and this is real. Every day we tell each other nobody allowed to move out of Richmond because all my families are here. So all in Richmond, about 10-15 minutes apart, and that's it.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So I think we appreciated each other more.
That's great.
Yeah.
I'm sure. Sure, everybody will remember hearing that. I hope they will. And
yeah.
You know, I'm gonna make sure that Collegiate will get your book in their library as soon as it comes out.
Thank you.
Hopefully you can come speak. That'd be amazing.
Yeah, I would love to have the opportunity to speak there. You know, I would be more than happy to answer any questions or doing anything they want, and always looking for volunteers if they wanted to get involved. Because I did have a student from Freeman when this is back in 2008. You know, she went with me, and I think it really changed her life. And
sure.
Yeah, this past January we have 21 students from Randolph-Macon College, and two of the professor went, and you know, and they donated 120 trees to our school.
Oh, wow.
They visit, and they have this hands-on with kids, and some of them are looking forward to go back. And it's always looking for volunteers. You know, with anything, you know, you can help teach English, even coach soccer. Just play with them, give this kid a normal life, because they don't have, because 6-7 years old already out there working to support their family, so they can eat. Yeah.